guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Zara, or Zaza, whichever one you prefer to call me. So today, if you are new to my channel, welcome. It's nice to see you join the crew. Basically, I wanted to do a video, especially in light of everything that seems to have been going on lately. Today is Thursday when I'm recording this, and it's 2 days after the fire started in Grenfell Tower in Latimer Road. If you're from London or the UK, I'm sure you're aware, and if you aren't, basically there's been a terrible fire in a tower block, a high-rise block in West London, which has caused devastation. And even though that's the case, I want to just use a bit of this video just to say I'm so happy to see how much people banded together, and as soon as it happened, just people just getting down there and trying to help out in any way they can, donating things. I went down today to my community centre and donated a lot of kinds of stuff that I still had here, like I don't know, car seats, carry cots, music baskets, clothes, anything I could find, blankets. Me and my mum, toys. We just got everything we could, loaded them up in the car and just took them down there. I know they are still in need of food and so on, and if I can help later I will. But I really just wanted to touch on this because, especially after what happened in London Bridge, what happened in Manchester, and it's such a small space of time, and how many people have just come together and united and just helped as much as they can, or as little as they can. But as you can see from the title of this video, I wanted to speak about something that kind of relates to that in a way, and it's fears about being a parent, or fears about parenting itself. Not often people actually talk about it openly. The fears before, during, just in general. And I wanted to highlight a few that resonated in me, that I used to fear, and some of the things that I still am fearful of while raising Kai. One, I think it starts from pregnancy. Like, we all know the first 3 months are the scariest time for a pregnant person, and yeah, the risk of miscarriage is very high, and getting to have your first scan and hear the baby's heartbeat is the most amazing feeling in the world, knowing that you've got past that 3-month point and you're now able to enjoy the pregnancy. But you are very fearful at first, and you almost don't want to get too excited just in case. But yeah, so I know that's a very difficult time, and if you are pregnant at the moment and very early on like that, all I'd say is just, live normally. Don't put too much pressure on yourself, too much pressure on your body, but don't stop doing, what you normally do. Don't think that you have to just sit at home and not do anything, and be really gentle with yourself. The next point of fear is labour. Just the thought of it when you're pregnant sometimes makes chills go down your spine, because it's something you have no idea about. Whether you're a new parent or even someone that's having another child, because no two pregnancies or labours are the same. So it's an understandable fear. You don't know what's going to happen to you, the risk to you and your baby, whether you're going to have a C-section. All these things play such a big role when you're thinking about labour or about to go through labour. Bless me. But one thing I will say is get as much information and knowledge as you possibly can about all different types of things that can come to light when you're in labour. The more knowledge you have about something, the less fear you'll feel, because you are better prepared for anything that may come. I feel like I did do I think a pregnancy video a while ago, talking about my labour experience, my pregnancy experience, and I was quite blessed. I was quite lucky to have such a reasonably successful labour. I didn't really go through much. I didn't have to have any epidural or anything, but what I feel prepared me more was, for one, I got as much information as I could about everything. I was researching like a crazy woman, and I'm not telling you to do that, but research as much as you can. I filled myself with knowledge and experiences from other people. I spoke to midwives and so on, and during my labour I listened to the midwife. If she told me to do something, I did it. Obviously I made myself more comfortable when I could, and I think that's key, making yourself as comfortable as possible. But it really is key that you listen to your midwife, because they can see what's going on. They have the knowledge and experience to help you, so listen to them. Right, so once the baby's born, the whole new set of fears. I was the worst, absolute worst, for checking on Kai Kai when she was sleeping. Like, constantly going up to her mouth, like putting my ear to her mouth, listening to see, make sure that she's still breathing, because obviously at that stage you're worried about cot death. And I don't think there's enough information given to us. I know that they don't know the root cause to cot death, but there's definitely not a lot of information, so it is a very big fear. So I was constantly checking on her and making sure she's okay, and if I couldn't hear her breathing, I might wiggle her feet a little bit and make sure she responds to me. But it's normal. I don't think I know anyone that didn't do it. Maybe not for as long as me. But I don't think I know anyone that didn't check on their children constantly. The next fear is leaving your child for the first time. I don't know how parents feel when they've had more than one child, but definitely as a new parent, that's hard. Especially for me, like, I'm so overprotective. I'm like super overprotective, and I wouldn't want anyone else to be this way, as maybe as bad as me. But I'm very cautious. I don't leave my daughter with many people. I have a select few that I will leave my daughter with, that I feel safe enough and secure enough to leave my child with, and especially when she was a baby. Well, I don't even think I left her as a baby. I don't think I left her until she was like 9 months. So yeah, and that was, even then, that was with my mum. That was the first time, 9 months in, it was the first time I left her. And it was scary, because you're constantly thinking about them, and it's the fact that you don't really want to leave your baby. No one really wants to. And you're constantly calling up, checking in. Are they okay? Is everything alright? Should I come back? Do you need me to pick her back up? But it's normal. And I think anyone that feels completely secure with leaving their child, regardless of whether it's with family or friends, I don't know. I can't understand. because it's not necessarily that that person is going to do anything to your child or not respond to your child or care for your child how they need to be cared for, but it's because you're not there to ensure that your every possible thing is avoided that could cause harm to your child. And you, when you're there yourself, you are able to deal with the situation, you know, and you know your child. You can sense when anything's wrong with your child or when they need like attention or anything. You as the parent know your child the best, so it is constantly in your mind when you leave them, like, oh, what if they miss me as well? You know. But it does get better. You don't get like that. You don't stay like that. You won't, especially when they start walking and talking. That kind of simmers down a bit because they can respond and react, and you're a bit more chilled by then. And that also ties in nicely with leaving them when they first start school or nursery. Like for me, that happened last year. Last September, Kai started school and she entered reception into a school like where she didn't go to the nursery. Luckily, Kyan, quite thankfully, is a very happy, very caring, loving, bubbly character and seems to make friends instantly wherever she goes, and is very adaptable to new situations. And I think a part of that adaptability is because I speak to her leading up to an event as such as that. And I think that's key. I always say in all my videos, communication, but it is. Talk to your children, reassure them, speak through any fears that they may have before they enter into that kind of situation, especially school. Like, especially where she goes now. When she first started, she did not know no one in the school. I knew no one in the school. A lot of the people in her class had already went to the nursery and knew each other to a certain extent, so they were able to keep their friendship groups once they got into their first year. So Kyan kind of had to slot in to what was already built, which she did do very well. From the first day she already had friends. So, you know, but it's still a fear. Still a fear. You're leaving them with adults as well as children. It's like you don't know. You don't even know the teachers they're exposed to throughout the day, because you don't get to meet those teachers. You get to meet the teacher and helpers or whatever that are in the class with your child, but you don't get to meet the other teachers. And you don't know what they're exposed to at school. So, for instance, I don't allow my child, that kind of fits in with one of the other fears, I don't allow my child to watch certain kids programs, because to me it's inappropriate. Some of these children's programs are just inappropriate, and I'm not trying to keep my child a baby or nothing like that, but to me, if they're talking about certain things in a program, my child does not need to hear it at all. And then when obviously some parents aren't like that, and your child will then go to school and the other children will be talking about certain subjects, and they will hear this stuff. But like I said before, if you already have that relationship with your child, hopefully your child will come to you and they'll probably bring it up. And kids are the worst for random ones. You're walking down the street, you're having a nice conversation, and then boom, they just drop something on you that they heard or they seen or whatever. And then you've got to have that conversation and that discussion then and there to put their mind at ease, or to help them to understand in a way that your child understands things, so that they're not sitting there trying to make sense of a situation or something that they've heard for themselves and coming to the wrong conclusions, because that can be very detrimental. So talk. Like I say, always talk. And lastly, I think one of the biggest things, but one of the things that is the most out of our hands, is our children growing up in a very insecure and difficult world. we've gone through generations. It's always been something. There's always been a load of things that happen, and devastation, and worries and fears of people. And this is just our time now, where our children are having to be exposed to these things. And it's sad, because I had to prepare my child last night about what happened at Grenfell Tower, because I didn't want her to go to school and the other students, or she might overhear teachers or anything, talking about it, and her not understanding, and her just hearing little things and putting 2 and 6 together and coming up with completely a different thing and being worried or fearful about it. So the best bet was for me to sit her down and talk to her in a way she could understand, and explain to her, these things happen, and we've got to come together and do what we can to help, because this could have happened to any of us. But this world, it's hard, and we got to do everything we possibly can to come together. Like they say, community raises a child. We can't do it alone. Whether there's friends, family, neighbours, we all need to support each other in order for us to grow stable, happy, well-rounded, healthy children. It's not something that we should mess about with. It's very important to all of our well-being. These children are our future, like they always say. It's so cliche, but it's true. They are. They are our next politicians and our nurses and doctors and everything. They are the people that are going to be caring for us when we grow old. So we need to make sure that they're the best they can be. And the way that we do that is by succeeding ourselves, putting all the love and effort not only into our children but into ourselves, to make sure we are the best for them and can make the best of our situation for them, which will then empower them to do better than we did. All I can pray is that all the families that have been affected can see that they're not alone, can see that the community of London and the UK will always band together to help when these situations happen, and pray God we don't have another situation like this ever again. But it's so positive when you see such a big crisis and so many people helping. This is the world I want my child to live in. This is the communities I want my child to grow up in. And I can expect that most people would want the same. What we can do is stay positive, persevere, and do what we can to be happy and healthy. Because we only get one of these lives. Don't take it for granted. And on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope you did find this video enjoyable, informative, and if you've got any questions or any comments, please do leave them below, and I will definitely always respond. This is a community. I want it to be a community. This community will build and grow, and I want us to be there for each other. Like I said, it takes a village to raise a child, or in this case, a community. So if you did like it, please go ahead and press the like button. If you are not subscribed, whether you're new or existing, please do go and press the subscribe button. I can't say S, you know. I swear I have a lisp. Subscribe. See, when I think about it, I can say it, but when I say it, like speaking normally, my S it's like I have a lisp. Anyway, sorry. And press the bell button just to let you know, it notifies you when I upload any new videos. And yeah, I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.